The Hyperkin Xenon featured in today's review was provided courtesy of Hyperkin. The Xbox 360 controller is considered one of the greatest input devices of all time. Its ergonomic design made it great for long play sessions, and it had performance to match. It also helped pave the way for including an integrated headphone jack onto a player's controller seen in Xbox and PlayStation controllers that followed. Yes, I know the 3DO did it first, but it didn't gain popularity in the 90s. The biggest complaints leveled at the 360 controller during its lifetime that I vividly remember were its underwhelming D-pad and its use of AA batteries for its wireless variant. In 2023, Hyperkin announced they were reviving this classic pad as the Hyperkin Xenon. An officially licensed Xbox 360 controller replica, the Xenon brings back everything players loved and hated about the original in this new wired option. The Hyperkin Xenon comes in a nicely themed box with a glossy depiction of the Xenon in the center. An icon about including a headphone jack is also noted, along with all the additional Hyperkin and Xbox branding. One side of the box gives us a side view of the Xenon with compatible systems, while the other gives key features of the controller. The back has additional illustrations of the Xenon and a brief description of it. Opening the box reveals a neat inner flap celebrating the Xenon's roots and release. Inside the box, you'll find the Xenon, 10-foot USB-C cable, a Hyperkin sticker, a quick start guide, and a thank you card that includes Hyperkin socials and support email. Picking up the Xenon for the first time is a nostalgia trip in all the best ways. Years of Xbox 360 era Halo Nights and other 360 titles have ingrained what the 360 controller is supposed to feel like, and the Xenon nails it perfectly. Button and thumbstick placements, trigger feel, it is all very close to the original with only minor differences. Thumbsticks use a different cap from original 360 controllers, but I hope this means they have better longevity by comparison. Triggers have a slightly different feel when pulled, but offer a good resistance. Bumpers have a more pronounced click when pressed, but do come across a bit hollow. A share button and full-sized 3.5mm jack have been added to the design to match other modern Xbox controllers. The ring of light indicating player number has also been swapped for a single glowing LED to let you know when the controller is on. The 10-foot USB cable attaches to the Xenon where the original wired 360 controller cord was located. The connection is firm and the length is good for moderately sized gaming setups. Being a wired controller, it is lighter than the wireless 360 controller and modern Xbox controllers. Thanks to solid plastic, the entire build of the Xenon feels sturdy and handles everyday wear and tear without issue. Since this is essentially Microsoft's molds of the original 360 controller, the ergonomics are top-notch and prolonged gaming sessions have not resulted in any discomfort. Using the Xenon on my Xbox consoles and PC has been a fun throwback. I've spent thousands of hours with the Xbox 360, and while I like a number of changes the Xbox One controllers introduced, this design can never go out of style. No matter the game being played, I found the Xenon perfectly up to the task. Halo being a staple of using this controller back in the day saw a good chunk of my playtime. MCC with the Xenon has been a blast, and I had no issues during my sessions. While the Xenon doesn't make use of Hall effect thumbsticks, Hyperkin has tuned them well with great resistance and performance. Dead zones haven't been a concern during my use, and a circularity test shows only a 1.4% margin of error on both sticks, beating out all of my first-party Xbox and PlayStation controllers handedly. Bumpers and face buttons have worked well, and thanks to the Xenon's wired connection, offer fantastic input latency. Despite the more hollow feeling these new bumpers have, I have been quite pleased by the sound of the micro switches while in use. I find myself torn on the face buttons though, as they are smaller than those found on modern Xbox pads. They also come too close to being stiff, yet manage to stay on the side of acceptable. Triggers have worked splendidly in every game and use case though, with perfect tuning for its pull ranges. Activation starts right when the pull starts and doesn't hit the full value until reaching the end of that pull. It's a little thing, but I have had too many experiences where trigger ranges would be hampered by extra dead zones and short pulls. My only personal annoyance while using the Xenon comes to its D-pad. The D-pad is again practically identical to the one found on the original 360 controller, and while I was used to it for years, I don't really enjoy going back to it after using those on modern Xbox pads. It functions just fine during play and has no issues registering cardinal or diagonal inputs, but despite this, I just don't like to use it for titles that make heavy use of it, like my numerous retro compilations or emulation. As for compatibility, I encountered no issues using the Xenon on my Xbox One X, Xbox Series X and S, or my PC. For anyone interested, the Xenon can be used on the Xbox 360 through the use of an adapter like the Brook Wingman XB2. Use on the 360 feels very natural, and I found it to be quite enjoyable with no noticeable issues during play. During my month with the Xenon, I didn't encounter any glaring issues that would stop me from recommending it to fans of the design. Yes, the D-pad is still the meh one found on original 360 controllers, but if you are considering the Xenon, you are likely okay with this. That being said, I hope Hyperkin will release an updated variant of the Xenon to include Hall effect thumbsticks like those found on the Duchess, Hyperkin's Xbox Controller S replica that was released in August 2024. A wireless variant would also be welcomed, whether through a receiver or a deal with Microsoft to allow for such a variant. One last thing I do think is worth considering is the Xenon's price. At $49.99, the Xenon is a pricey option and one that doesn't include a number of extras found on other Xbox or PC controllers. Rear programmable buttons are found on many third-party offerings, giving them more functionality at lower prices. Many of those options also include the aforementioned Hall effect sticks. Even if you are dead set on an Xbox 360 controller, second-hand wired 360 controllers go for a much cheaper price, and several new in-box sales can be found at nearly half the cost of the Xenon. While they wouldn't work without an adapter on modern Xbox systems, it is an avenue to consider for PC players. The Hyperkin Xenon is an awesome tribute to an all-time classic controller that offers its users a nice dose of nostalgia and excellent performance. While a bit pricey compared to other options, Hyperkin has ensured that anyone picking up the Xenon won't be disappointed. I do hope to see the Xenon iterated on over the years to integrate Hall effect sticks and potentially allow for a wireless version, but until then, if you are willing to pay a bit more for a shot of nostalgia, the Xenon is ready to deliver. So those are my thoughts on the Hyperkin Xenon. Again, a wonderful Xbox 360 replica that mimics the look, feel, and performance of the original, pretty much down to a T, just a couple of differences here and there, but overall, again, a solid input option. But again, also kind of a costly one considering what you could get out of competing options. But if you are just a huge fan of the 360 design and want to have a no-fuss experience with a 360 controller on modern Xbox systems, Xenon's got you covered. But thank you again to Hyperkin for sending this one out my way to review and share a video with all of you, and thank you all for watching it. Here at the end, just the usual favors: thumbs up, thumbs down, sub button, notification bell. You kind of know the drill at this point. But if you'd like to further support the channel and help keep us going, be sure to check out that join button here on YouTube or the Patreon link in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, as every little bit helps keep us going. Big thank you to all of our current backers. You are just incredible champs. Couldn't do it without you. Just thank you again so much. But until next time, my wonderful internet peeps, you all stay awesome, keep on gaming, check out the Hyperkin Xenon. We'll see you back next video.